Welcome back, everyone, to the third part of this character burning world setting thing that is happening. I think
we
we're
are.
starting to sort of fill out skills and stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing kind of some bookkeeping around my skill roots. I just realized I'm going through this big long list and clicking back and forth, and I actually have all this written down. I'm just very intelligent.
Yeah.
Right. Conspicuous is a will one. But yeah. I was about to say I'm sort of angling towards I'm gonna take basically open all of the softer social skills.
Yeah.
Persuading, lying, seducing, all that stuff. So that I can then be and then a bunch of like performancey ones. But because I'm going to spread myself a little thin, I'm not going to be like brilliant at any of them, so it's going to take a while to work myself up to that place. Sleight of hand.
It's one general to like open and then points after that for.
So the way to kind of do this one is you can only spend the skill points on ones that you get from your life paths, and then you can spend your general ones to advance the ones in your life paths or open any random skill.
Yeah.
So probably the easiest way is to kind of spend your skill points first.
Yeah.
And but it's one one skill point to open it, and then one to advance it a further level.
Yep. I think I'm gonna open sculpture and painting, and then advance painting because I've got 3 general.
Cool. That makes sense.
Because I like the idea that she's like, I can do painting. I can probably also do sculpture. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Well, that depends if you're sculpting in marble.
Yeah, right?
To let everybody know that on my life paths skill list, I have the option to open the best skill in the entire game. Hypocritical bastards wise.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Don't dwarves also get like special drinking? Yes, they get
special drinking.
They get drunking, yeah. Because there's the human skill, which is drinking and not showing it. But drunking is the skill of getting loudly hammered in a fun way.
Yeah, drunking is... Dwarves can really put it away. They don't try to hide their inebriation either. They drink and get roaring drunk, and they let everyone know it. Use this skill when a dwarf needs to get drunk and loud quickly. The more successes, the faster he gets drunk. This is not meant to imply he needs less alcohol than another, less skilled drinker. On the contrary, he needs more. In bigger cups. Faster.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Right.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd like the drunking skill. I just like the word drunking. It's good. Do we want to quickly talk about like stats and stuff?
Yeah, if you want to...
So your so when you like pick out your life paths, each of them takes a certain amount of time. There are also leads factored in, as we mentioned, of like getting in and out of like different settings adds some time. And once you have that, depending on your age and your stock, so in my case, a man, in Dave's case, a dwarf, you get allocated an amount of mental points and an amount of physical points. So for me, it is I had 8 mental pool because I had 10 mental pool, I think, because I get 3 extra.
Yeah.
You have to put 1 in each. You cannot have a will of 0. And then you divide them between. So there's 2 mental stats, which are will and perception. Will is generally around your charisma and your also like how like intent you are in a thing. Like if I want to persuade somebody or something, the obstacle is set at their will. It is how willful they are affects how easy they are to persuade to do something. Whereas perception is about your kind of insight into things, your knowledge, smarts as a sort of vague, open thing. And the physical pool divides it up into power, fort, agility, and speed, which I think mostly do roughly what you expect. Fort is spelt Forte, is kind of how it's kind of a health-based thing. I think mostly is like it's hail and heartiness. I bet drinking is based off fort. To give you an idea of what that stat is about. And yeah, every skill kind of comes off of one of the stats that you can. Yeah, so if your will is good, you will be better at persuading people, but they can be advanced independently of that. So I think with that in mind, I'm going to go for dividing my mental pool as have a 6 in perception and a 4 in will. I'm a reasonably convincing boy, but mostly I'm a smart boy.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of time spent like he was a decent actor, but he concentrated more on like the mechanics of a good show and like how all the acting fitted together. So that then he went and spent like 4 years hiding in dark rooms studying history and playwriting and all the classics and learning how they worked. That's more his focus. And then I'm going to have an agility of 6, a speed of 4, a power of 3, and a fort of 3. Which means she's not fragile, but like no stronger or tougher than like, average.
Very live.
But yeah, like can run like agility. So agility does actually kind of factor in of writing. The actual act of writing is a skill that is based off of your perception and your agility. Like you have to be able to move your hand quickly to write well.
Yes.
So having good agility for a person who spent a lot of time writing plays actually quite important.
Well, that's also sort of demonstrating like your handwriting as well.
Yeah. Like
you have really low agility. Like your handwriting is like chicken scratch.
Yeah. What's really interesting, and now that you're talking about, I've just reached the same spot. I get Dwarven Rune Script, which is both reading and writing in one skill, and it's only rooted in perception. So I wonder what that says about like how runes work.
Yeah.
There's no agility required. I feel like dwarves in general don't have.
Yeah, they're not. Dwarves are
like,
not known for their agility as a rule.
Yeah.
It might be the thing of the reason agility is a part of writing is because speed is an important part of communicating for humans because we die quickly. Dwarves don't.
Yeah.
So they don't have to worry about it takes 3 days to write a letter because what do they care? They're going to live for 700 years.
Yeah. Goes up to 600. That's the end of the mental age and the physical age chart.
Fair.
So Ashley, if you want to on your sheet like that filter by stock, you can set that to men, and then you can set your age in there as well, and it'll tell you how many points you have.
All wises are rooted in perception, right?
All wises, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so I'm pick my skills. So I want persuasion. I want falsehood. I want.
I'm going to have to do some special questions for me, Ash.
Oh yeah, there's greed.
Because of my greed.
Yes, you have greedy questions.
I'm not onto that yet. It just
reminded
me to confess.
It's a thing we need to come back to. I'm going to take conspicuous. Being noticed is an important part of this.
But also not being noticed.
Not being noticed has its uses, but no one comes to your show if they won't take your flyers from you in the Piazza.
That's true.
Okay, so I have 16 skill points. So currently I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Which gives me 8 more to use up. do want to be pretty good at acting. That's important to me. Oh. There are also checkboxes on here to mark if they are training skills, dwarven magical skills, elven spell skill songs, or wolf songs. I don't think any of those are going to be relevant except the dwarven magical ones.
Yep, I take that for having to open Black Metal Artifice.
Yeah.
It's just a little more tricky, yeah, because it's better. I want to be quite persuasive.
I forgot Ugly Truth is perception. That I love that so much.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's the only like social skill that is perception based. It's very good. Let me do that and that. So that's 8 skills open currently, 3 extra points spent. Playwright.
Ugly Truth is definitely the best skill in the game. I agree.
Do I need to open, read, and write in human? Yeah, I totally do.
Yes, 100% you do.
It would make life
Human
very
words.
hard if you haven't.
Rough.
Like you would get taken advantage of a lot if you don't have that, I imagine.
I have 2 general skill points. I guess I know what I'm getting.
Well, you don't necessarily need to write.
That's true. That's actually very true. I don't need to write. And it does mean I can't start with any artist skills, which is kind of perfect, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the thing, though, of like, then you're a bit of a fish out of water. Not having an important human skill, like writing, immediately leads you into, like, getting a relationship with someone who can. So maybe not having reading would put you too much at the mercy of other people, but like not having writing is like perfectly. Oh, and I have a scribe as a relationship, or I have to go find another player character to read shit, to write shit for me. So I imagine actually could be a good side gig for me. Okay, so I have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 11, 13, 15, 16. So that's my skill points. So now I just have my general points left. So I am going to add to the list oratory, which is a will skill. I am going to add seduction, which is also will. I'm going to add... Okay. I'm going to add knife, which is an agility one. I'm just going to open. And then the last one, this one I want to have a bit of a conversation, is about the field. So I mentioned this in the break, but for the benefit of the audience, I want to have a field of knowledge about which my character is quite well versed. And the game kind of divides that up into like a lot of different skills. So, and this is because, like, if we look at Shakespeare, who is the kind of the main like person who I'm deriving this character from, like he wrote a lot of plays that were about history. He wrote a lot of plays that were about like folklore and mythology. And writing historical fiction requires a knowledge of history, but then also you have to like bastardize that knowledge to make it actually fit a more convenient dramatic arc. And yeah, so I'm trying to figure out what the field of knowledge I will be drawing on to make this work.
So like history is a skill like category, which is like separate from Wise's.
So yeah, there's in here there's like ancient history, military history, campaign history. So military campaign, foreign history, religious history, local history, obscure history, and then religious history again. Odd. I don't want it to be religious history. Because I feel like that might be what theatre is currently.
Yes, yeah.
It's
definitely.
lots of plays about the ascension of the God King. And I feel like it's interesting to move away from that.
Yeah, I feel like either local history or obscure history are the
So I'm trying to
ones
think,
to
is
go
this
for.
going to be about like, because the thing I'm always thinking is like the ascension of man to God happened through some like kind of Tower of Babel if it didn't go wrong thing of like he unified everybody together, they all prayed in the same direction, and that was like enough accumulation of faith that he ascended to godhood.
That's definitely one story that is definitely told by church.
Yeah, and I'd say probably since he left the physical plane to become a weird god creature, like that idea of a unified society is slowly fractured into what we are now in the city-states. So I'm either interested in like obscure history of like writing stories about the weird fairy stuff that happened before this current age, or in like the how we like all the different like probably not so salubrious stories about how these kind of countries and city-states like broke apart, formed, conquered each other.
Yeah, that would definitely be local history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which do we think is more interesting? Like, is
so I think sort of go back to your sort of religious narrative. I think it's interesting to me how in the Bible the same story gets told from many different perspectives in different ways. And like you read one account of Jesus as a person and compare it to a different book in the Bible, and they're completely different stories. And I think that's something that's also true in the religion we're establishing, where in whatever the book is, there's like 5 or different stories of the ascension, and the church says, "Oh no, don't worry, they're all the same thing." But in reality, they are actually quite different, disparate stories.
Yeah. Here's my pitch for why like local history or campaign history might be interesting. Is that like plays often have heroes and villains, and the families who are the descendants of the main characters of those stories live in the city with us. And if one of them is cast as a hero, that's a thing they will be a character within the setting be actively invested in,
100%,
and the villains will also be actively like, this is not allowed to happen. You can't make everyone hate me. Yeah, because I think the thing is that I'm kind of not interested in... I'm interested in competing with the people writing theatre about the ascension of...
Yes. Yeah, I get you.
Like, I think I have copies of, like, every play, like, every big play about that event, and I've read them all, and, like, all of my copies are, like, filled with notes about how I would make this more interesting, how I would do it better, but, like, I have kind of hit a point where I've gone, I don't want to make their stories anymore. I want to make my own stories.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, so I think you're doing like really before that, so I get to do like the pre-human humans.
Yeah.
Before we had a god, before we had a representative in the cosmic scale.
Yeah.
And us like futzing about with fairies, so we get the Midsummer Night's Dream stuff. Or I want to do the thing that gets me real embroiled with petty noble politics.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to think, because one of those will put me in like heretical texts, and one of those will put me in like rich people have an issue with.
Yes.
And I just it's
and 100%, someone religious is gonna offer to pay you a lot of money to write about God.
Yeah, absolutely is that as well. Yeah. Just do the thing you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to figure out like who am I more interested in making an enemy of, I guess, is the church or the nobles.
Yeah. Why not both?
Yeah, I think writing about the nobles and then refusing the church is the way to get both. So I'm going to take local history.
Local history, yeah. Okay.
There we go. Cool. I'm glad we had this discussion. Thank you, team.
Ash, have you found the button that lets you add the second routes to these skills?
No.
So it's just that checkbox
Next to the drop
right next to the drop down.
Cool. All right, I will add those in now. I'll do that in a second.
Mhm.
I am for the moment just trying to work out traits. Because there's so many.
There are so many. Bear in mind, so everything that you can write down from your life paths only costs you 1. You only have to take the first one as well, but then the other ones start to cost like more.
Yeah, there are a lot of traits.
So I am paranoid, colorful, and I have one called Other Life from being a dramaturge. I think it's from being a dramaturge,
I remember looking at that at some point.
Which I don't think has any like descriptions of what it means, which is really like what? Yeah, it's from being a dramaturge that I get this one.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a character trait.
Yeah.
It's
I don't quite know.
I don't know what that's.
Like, is this that because it doesn't feel like a full-on second identity thing, because this isn't like me being a con man. I mean, I have to take it, so I've taken it. I don't quite know what to do with it yet. So I had to look through traits before, so I have some ideas.
Every time I try and type the burning wheel, I always hit the H before the W. This is the burning wheel. Wheel.
Hot wheel. Okay. Where was...
Oh, that's going to be a really difficult thing to Google for, but... I feel like Naren, we're trying to find out what this other life trait is really referring to. I feel like it's probably is referring to like having like a second like thing that you do. Like being a dramaturge isn't like your only
playwright, composition, write, drama wise. Yeah, I'm guessing maybe that's it. Of like, while I was spending all my time studying plays and writing my own and not making any money off of it, maybe it was like my time working as a scribe when I got really good at writing lots really fast.
I'm looking for... Does anyone know if... Because I was expecting to find seductive or something.
So... Are you looking for like...
Or like flirtatious or something?
Are you looking for like something to make you better at seduction, or are you just looking for a character trait?
Either that or a character trait.
Yeah, so if we're looking for like a... I think there's charismatic... There's charming. Charming can become a call-on for seduction.
That is what EJ's character had for seduction.
Yeah.
EJ is a
I think
call-on
I'm
for
gonna go
seduction? I didn't know this.
Charming and reckless.
Character, I said. Gosh.
Sorry, Alessandra.
yeah.
I'm gonna go charming and reckless.
Okay, that should be interesting. I have gone for quick study, which is a nice cheap die trait.
Because it was either like restless is kind of baked in there into
your concept,
into my concept. So
yeah. So the difference is, I can't remember what I was going to say now.
So
it's
yeah,
the thing
the
of-
things that I wanted to, so like yeah, like she is restless is baked into her character concept, whereas reckless talks about her like not giving a fuck and being like, look, I drew the Pope with a dick on his head.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So,
like,
so the
I will
difference
do
is that
anything to get famous.
yeah,
Yeah.
there are other people who are as restless as you are,
yeah,
but
Yeah.
that you are always the most reckless person in the room.
yeah.
I think I want to be a clumsy. Because that's
Oh.
really bad.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's beautiful. I love it.
it's just like I'm doing something very dangerous in this person's place. It's like I drop it. What? Yeah, I drop it. It's like, well, I mean, I guess you get fate, you asshole.
Let's clumsy as a sculptor, because that can't go bad.
No. You won't chisel someone's nose off, and then forever be known as Horatio the Noseless.
One of the traits that I really like that you can get through Painter is Greater Muse. It's like a 6-point die trait, which makes it really. You can get it.
Wanted to get that if I got that many points.
Yeah,
It's so hard
you
to
can
get
go as
Oh yeah.
like through Painter you can get it for a point.
It is very powerful.
It's so good. You get
You have to get a muse,
yeah,
but as long as you have them, your painting or whatever it is a
it's
skill
shade higher.
Yeah.
So like if you are painting your muse, you have grey shaded painting instead of black shaded.
It's good.
That's amazing.
It's very good. Right. I have my traits done. I have my skills done. I have my stats done. Let's look at resources. Actually, I think I know exactly what I want for my resources.
How many have you started with?
I have 35. Because, yeah, being a smuggler gets you money. Because being a performer and a dramaturg, do not. Like, for context, I made 5 resource points for my performer life path and 5 being a dramaturg. I made 10 for being born in the city.
Yeah.
Like, 7 years of work in the theater made me as much money as being born.
Yeah. And so I wanna talk a little bit about like the dramaturge life path a little bit, because I did some googling because I was trying to dig up where that trait was coming from.
Yeah.
And dramaturges, like traditionally, are like kind of more like editors than like playwrights in themselves.
Yeah.
Like in the like theater structure, the dramaturge is someone who comes up with the playbook. And decides like, oh, okay, this season we're gonna do this play, and this play.
Yeah. And I imagine that's kind of it, of like the performer and dramaturge life paths represent a lot of my character working for other people and like learning his craft, learning how to act, how to like take a play, rework it for the thing they're doing. Like he did a lot of rewriting the classics, or like making things a little bit more appropriate for this thing, whatever. And now he feels he has amassed enough skill to go do it himself. So like the ending of this life path is literally him like quitting his job, taking all the money and skill he has hoarded over the years, crossing the street and going, I'm gonna buy this crappy theater.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna write my own plays, and that's gonna be great.
Yeah. Yeah. So I get that. That's definitely a question I have for you. Are you gonna take? Like, are you interested in the relationship with the people you used to work for?
So I've sort of like mapped out the kind of the way I want to spend my resource points. Because I'm interested in play sorting out like I think like that relationship could exist, but I think I want to do that mostly through circles. Like they were people I got along with, but they weren't like people I got like super close with.
Yeah, so they're not. There isn't like any like animosity or like happiness that you've left and gotten done or anything. They're just like, oh no, that's fine.
Yeah, so I'm not going to start with any kind of affiliation to an acting guild or anything, because I think people think I'm a bit mad that I've like gone away and gone. Mad. I mean that too, but that I've gone away and I'm like, I'm gonna make my own plays. I'm gonna like do my own. I'm not gonna keep doing the classics we do every season. And a bunch of people went like, I mean, cool. You were nice to work with. Here's your severance pay. We'll see you in a year when you're starving and destitute. Good luck. So there's no like bad feeling, but they're also not like supportive. They're just friends who like, if I can pay them, will rock up to do the work. The stuff I'm like not interested in playing out is just the acquisition of like property. So the things I'm going to start with is a business. It's just like I have a theater with stuff in it so that I can put on a performance. The relationship I'm interested in starting the game with is I'm going to have a relationship with my sister, who is still a criminal, and very good one.
Perfect. Yeah.
But to make her cheap enough, one, it's a forbidden relationship, not in that we're gross, but in that she is like she's a criminal. Yeah,
she's like a known criminal.
Yeah, like she's a 10 resource point character to start with. Yeah. I want her to be big. Like she has like a name, like a title. That is on her wanted poster.
Is she older than you?
I think we're very similar ages. I think slightly.
I feel like if I'm gonna burn her up and I want her to be like a really good criminal, I might do like 5 life paths.
Yeah. Yeah. So say she's like a little bit older. Like she had to look after me a bit when we were growing up.
Yeah. I mean that explains how you got into smuggling. If she was already,
absolutely.
Yeah, if she was already in her 20s when you were 12.
So yeah, let me make sure I'm like doing the costing right. So if I just find the relationships page. So for the wonderful audience, when relationships start at like they are 15 if they are considered powerful and play a large role in the game setting. So a king of like the people, like the council members who run the city, probably 15-point people, or the head of the church in the city. A 10-point person is someone who is significant or important to the game setting, and I think, my sister controls like a massive amount of the smuggling that goes in and out of the port, which in a major trade hub makes her a big deal. And then like a person who plays a minor role in the setting is a 5 relationship person. These might be like if my sister was like in the crime family, but she wasn't running it.
Yeah.
You can then modify these to make them cheaper by making them more complicated. So immediate family relationships are -2. So she gets cheaper because she's my sister. We don't. If your relationship involves bonds, romantic love, you get -2. I'm not doing that. Forbidden relationships are -1. So yeah, dropping that down a little bit extra. And then relationships that are hateful, are rivals, or are extremely unfriendly to the character are -2 as well. And yeah, sis is mad at me.
It's a hateful relationship. Great.
Yeah, I think it's when I left being a smuggler.
Let's leave that for a blank.
Yeah.
I think that's a good question to leave.
Exactly sure
why she's angry at you.
But I also think it's very specifically like I fucked up in some way. Like she is angry at me. Not we hate each other.
Yeah.
So big sis crime lord.
I've got 2 relationships at the moment. They are my. I think I've got a fresh husband. Got a new one.
A brand new one.
Straight off the press. And he's only minor.
Yeah.
I think he's probably like noble in some way, but like not importantly.
Mm-hmm.
So he's immediate family and romantic. But I think my adopted father hates me.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one that adopted me into being like part of the court and nobility and everything. And then I went and married this fucko, and he's very like, you know, he was like, yes, I will like extend you, you know, I see you and I will raise you up. And then I was like, yeah, fuck you. And he's like,
so
what?
so is this a marriage of love then?
Oh, 100%. Well, I mean, it definitely is for him. It definitely is for my husband.
Or it's a marriage of rebellion.
Yeah, it kind of is that.
Is it a marriage of he's exciting because he's not local or from like he's not in
I
the
think
the
he might
place...
be an alchemist.
Okay. But
I think he might be into like weird shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's specifically about him. You're not in love with him, you're in love with the idea of him.
Yeah, definitely that.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely that.
Yeah.
That he's exciting and
so
different.
this is the kind of thing where like he proposed to you expecting you to say no, even though he was totally into you, because it was like, no, this, like, even though you're an adopted daughter, you're still well above my station. And so the way I'm, so dear father, like, is enough of a noble that he, like, he's big enough as a noble to be like part of the government. Like he's 10 point. Yeah, so his family is still a big enough deal that they get an automatic into the signoria. Whereas this other noble of like his family is like fallen off that.
But he's noble. He lives his own life where he gets to go and do his weird hobby, and no one bothers him.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, that's amazing to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
okay,
I want to do my
great.
weird hobby.
Yeah, no, that sounds great.
Painting dicks on the Pope.
You're gonna get yourself killed.
Oh, yes, I am.
I'm being a bit dumb. I can't remember where buying relationships with resource points is.
It's in the like the first couple chapters. Page 93, 94.
Oh, I was in like totally wrong.
Yeah, it's not repeated in like the Manish resources section, which leads you to look in the wrong place, or the Dwarven resource section.
Is there even a Dwarvish resource section?
I think so, because you can buy like.
It's quite funny actually, because you get all the things.
There it
it's
is.
like toolkits, arms, blah 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 blah, and they're separated into normal things, normal dwarven versions of things, and everything that is not made by a dwarf is called shoddy X. So you have shoddy toolkit, shoddy arms, shoddy whatever.
Nice.
So I have some of those because I don't have that much money. I've got my dwarven tools that I learned to artifice with, but the ones that I'm using for sculpting, they're shoddy. They're made humans.
Yeah.
Until I build myself some more. I need money.
I need a good name for my theater. Is the thing I'm very much in need of.
Mm-hmm.
That's my small business.
Do I need to like buy a place to live if it's like I'm living with my husband?
Yes, you need to pay rent.
Yeah.
At the moment I am sleeping, I don't have the money to get a place to live. Can I sleep in my office at my small business?
No.
I'm paying 20 points for it.
You don't have 1 point for a leaky shack?
It's 5 for Biggest Crime Lord, 20 for a small business, 1 for clothes, 1 for shoes, 8 for a playwright kit.
Do you need shoes?
I'm feeling like
got shoes. Rookie mistake.
Not optimizing.
No shoes. 7 times.
Because I do not have the money to be like dressed, have the stuff to write plays, have the space to put a play on, and also live somewhere.
No, you don't.
Live in a leaky shack. Just do it.
I need to like sell something to free up the point.
Oh my god.
It's not great. It's not great. Can I just?
Or you could just be homeless.
Could. I just have a lot of problems to do with that.
Yeah, that gets like real rough as soon as we hit a resource cycle. If I haven't found something,
Sure does.
Am I calling myself if I'm like making art in the house? Is that a cottage industry?
Is there one for a workshop?
There is, but that's separate to house.
Yes.
Yeah. Because the cottage industry is like a weaver or like a pottery maker or
yeah. That's right. I'll work
I mean,
it out.
a workshop is just a big toolkit. It is used for artisan and craftsman skill tests that require more than just simple tools. So if you're doing sculpting, it sounds like the workshop is the thing you need.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are you gonna sculpt as well? A rival sculptor.
Yeah, right. Like I've opened sculptor. I haven't taken any points in it.
Yeah, me neither. I couldn't.
Have you taken acting?
No.
Interest. Okay. Because I was gonna be super amused if I was like,
but, I need to have
an actor.
If I have a workshop, I don't need a skill toolkit if I'm in there.
I believe so. Yeah.
I bought both.
Yeah, I can't afford both.
I think it's a workshop is just a big toolkit. It is used for artisan and craftsman skill tests for more simple tools.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's just a big artist studio.
Yes.
Yeah. Ashley is the person to talk to about.
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I feel like if you buy the workshop, you won't need a toolkit, but you won't be able to do painting anywhere else. Painting and sculpting anywhere else. You'll only be able to do it in the workshop.
Yeah.
Which to me says that you're not painting small things.
Well, yeah.
Like I'm picturing like frescoes.
Yeah, that's much bigger than I'm. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, like just buying a toolkit and then buying a house.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm just gonna buy a house and a toolkit.
Yeah.
I can't remember where to put reputations on this thing. Right, there it is. They moved. That's my thing.
What is a more interesting start point for my character? Is it the need for respectability, in which case I have to find someone who will sell me shoes when I don't have shoes? Or is it I have no house?
Sounds like a bad time. I'm sorry.
I really like the idea of if it is... I have an idea.
Okay.
And that is that... So are we happy with the big noble season being autumn? And if so, are we starting in the season before that?
Wrong.
I like that because it's also vintage.
Well,
Or like yeah.
Because my thing is that like, did I make this giant gamble at the beginning of summer, sold my house, bought my theater, and I have 3 months to prepare for the arrival of a bunch of rich people, so that if I don't hit absolutely ready by then, I will die in the cold.
Yeah, right.
Look, I'm all up for anything that results in Finbar's character dying in the cold. So.
Yeah, sounds good.
Like, I mean,
Note
but
to
that's
self.
the thing of like,
Finbar
I'm
dies in
very
cold.
much like that would be entertaining, but like, is that a thing we're interested in starting in? If we want like a lead-in arc for us?
Yeah, I
preparing
feel
for
like
the
if we
social
sort of
season?
established that that's a thing.
Okay.
What does finery include?
Because I feel like that also gives a good like opportunity, like if we're playing like a resource cycle, and fingers crossed like Ali can join us in October. Like that gives us a good
Yeah. Like
opportunity
we can...
for her to like come in and
Cool. Yep. Right. I am a homeless theatre director.
great.
With
We'll have
the
to-
appearance of respectability and no fucking money.
Yeah,
And I have to sort everything out with what, because the way you calculate, so the way that money is done in this game chat is all based on your resources score. Resources is determined at the start of the game by how much money you spent on properties, affiliations, things like that. I have 1, which is not very much.
Nope.
And crucially, I'm pretty sure for maintenance, straight up not enough money.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
I will not have enough dice.
You will need funds, or you will need cash dice. to
Which
be able
is
to do
where
that.
Big Sis comes in.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the relationship is we're back in touch because I'm useful.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's like essentially money laundering through me because I now have a business or whatever. But I think that's the thing of like, I have become a necessary evil for her, which is also my angle to get her to forgive me.
Yeah.
For my slight, whatever it was. Cool. I'm good.
You're almost good.
Yes.
Go do your attributes and all that.
Yeah, you got to do all your. You got to ask your questions about your health and
Yes.
all of that.
Do we want to do that, or do we want to talk through the stuff for the other two?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so-
let's see where.
So resources now. So I need to leave some left over for upkeep, don't I?
No.
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 You
Okay.
start.
Yeah,
if
you
you don't spend them.
All right.
want to spend all your points.
Yeah, you spend all your points, and then your resources like exponent, your like skill, is set
Right,
by
The kinds of things you spend on.
yeah how much money you spent.
Okay. Where are descriptions of the specific things? Are they in other descriptions of the books?
Page 202 is the like mannish resources section.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it was 90.
I love the word manish. It's
Yeah, it's kind of
it's
fun.
good.
There's also the rules for relationships, affiliations, and reputations, and also like bodyguards, are on a 92 through like 96.
Yeah, and then the starting resource exponent is on 97.
Yes.
All right. So I do actually need to. So I've taken finery, but I do also need to take clothes.
You don't need to,
Well, you could walk around in your fine ball gowns.
but yeah, it's
All
I'm
the
not
time.
I'm not.
this is-
I'm not look, I'm reckless. I'm not a dickhead.
I think this is the Alessandra move, though. Of Alessandra at the beginning of the Roll20 campaign did not have clothes. She only had finery. That is, she walks everywhere in her court dresses.
Yes, but
Yeah,
Alessandra
I-
was
I-
well dressed.
I
Yeah.
paint. So no.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're going to be a painter, you're going to need clothes. Because
Yeah, alright.
stuff's going to get messy.
All right. So I've got finery, a skill toolkit, clothes, shoes, personal effects, traveling gear, a house, a husband, and an adoptive father.
Nice.
So how much did you spend on property, reputations, and affiliations? So I think that's just property for you.
10 on property. Yep.
You spent 10 on property.
Yeah. On having a house.
I
wanted to have a reputation, but I also needed shoes. So,
I mean, the traveling gear feels like the thing.
I mean, it's only 1 point. I can't. Like
Fair.
the minimum for reputation is 7.
Is 7, yeah, you know, you're right.
So I could not have finery, and then I could have a Actually, I might do that. I might.
It's a good time.
Yeah,
How much does that get me?
because right
Choose-
now you're at a B0 resources.
But a
Choose
reputation
words,
won't get
reputation.
you resources because reputation points don't count towards resources.
No, reputations do.
Reputations?
Yeah, relationships don't.
I thought it was only affiliations that.
Property, reputations, and affiliations. I'm literally looking at it.
Fair, fair.
Right, I've got a 1D reputation.
What is your reputation?
Firebrand.
Okay, and who is that reputation with?
I think it's local, so it's amongst the Piazza.
Okay, yeah.
No, I can't read. It's fine.
Oh, I hate that.
First, I was convinced that where it said not relationships, what I was reading were the words not reputations. And then I saw it said reputations, and I became convinced, because I couldn't have been wrong, that reputations was in both. The yes and no column. And then I realized, no, that's just a different word. That's just not what that word says. Ah, dear. Thank you, brain. Helping me so much.
Yeah.
Alright, I will chuck those in because I'm using that other app to do the math for me.
Yes,
So.
yeah. That's totally fine.
Good for questions now as well.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Reputation will be first against the wall when the Inquisition comes. I mean, somehow I'm more wealthy than the noble girl.
yeah.
I mean, I'm
yeah.
complicated.
Yeah, it's the thing of like, you have money, but it's not yours.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you could go to Dear Husband and
Or dear old dad, and like,
yeah,
the resource points come from being affiliated to those people, not from your own like contacts and favors and things.
Yeah, and so those spending 7 on a reputation will put you up to 17, which means you are B1 resources.
Yeah.
Which is
I
good.
don't
Like,
understand the math, but I'm trusting that that's good.
yeah, it's the amount you spend divided by 15 rounded down.
Right. Okay. Cool.
It's having
significantly easier to make money from having 1 to go up to 2 than starting at 0 because people have to give you stuff. You cannot do it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Gotta get that
for health and steel, there are some questions that we need to answer. So I will read through them and y'all can so starting health is the average of will and fort rounded down. Which it should say in your character sheet. It should auto calculate that for you. So does your character live in squalor and filth? Finbar.
Yes, Finbar.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't
Hey,
up
Finbar.
until this moment, but I guess yes. So that's -1, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Is your character frail and sickly? No. Was your character severely wounded in the past? No. Has your character ever been tortured or enslaved?
Nope.
Are you a dwarf, elf, or orc? If so, add 1.
Yeah.
Magical bullshit.
Is your character athletic and active?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got a business to run and no friends to run it for me.
Does your character live in a really clean and happy place, like the hills in The Sound of Music?
No.
But you used to literally live in Switzerland, but now you don't.
Yeah. Right. And then you left. You fool.
How long ago did you leave, like, by life path?
Um, 16 years. I am 78 years old, so.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. That is your. That'll be your
Alright.
whatever your final.
7 health.
3.
Yeah, I've got 3 as well. I not like mine's just my base.
Yeah.
I think I
Okay.
just get
So
around it by being a mad busybody actor.
for
Yeah,
steel,
whereas I spend too much time getting drunk, so.
Yeah.
yeah. For steel, base starting steel is B3.
Okay. Ba-bing.
Has your character taken a conscript, soldier, bandit, squire, or knight type life path?
Nope.
Has your character ever been severely wounded?
Nope.
Has your character ever murdered or killed with his own hand?
I think yes. But the follow-up is
Yes,
has
if
he
he's done
it
so
than
more than once, raise steel by 1.
Don't think so.
Okay.
Otherwise, it goes down, right?
No, it's. I think there's like the. Have you ever been beaten up?
Oh,
If yes, depending on your will, it goes up or down.
Yeah.
that's it.
Has your character been tortured, enslaved, or beaten terribly over time?
What does beaten like over time? What like my character's been beaten terribly. During my son of a gun period.
I mean, how many years was that? And was
Yeah,
it like
Depends.
a consistent thing through your entire childhood?
Like, nah, it's all right. It's I'm
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. Has the character led a sheltered life free from violence and pain?
Yes.
No.
Okay, reduce steel by 1.
Are they a dwarf?
Has the character been raised in a competitive culture? Sports, debate, strategy games, courting. Raise steel by 1. This is non-violent
Yeah.
competition.
I don't think being a street rat counts.
I think so. As no, actually, mine's about-
Is training to be an artisan not a competitive?
I'm not sure. I feel like it's competitive to a standard as opposed to competitive amongst a bunch
Okay.
of people.
Yeah, sure.
You're a collective working towards a shared goal, not people competing to be the best at the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've actually decided that my father was the Longbeard of our clan, and he hates me a lot because of this. So it's probably like, you gotta do well. You gotta do this artificing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, I want to leave now. And he's like,
Yeah.
okay, I am now a 1 point thing. I hate you so much.
Is the character? Has the character given birth to a child? Don't think any of you have children. Is the character gifted or faithful or an equivalent? So raise steel by 1.
Is being a dwarf and having innate dwarf magic equivalent?
No,
Yeah, I don't think greed counts.
Okay.
it's a separate set of questions.
If the character's perception is 6 or higher, raise steel by 1.
Boom.
If perception is 6 or higher.
Perception is 6 or higher. If will is 5 or higher, raised by 1. If it's 7 or higher, raised by 2. And then if thought is 6 or higher, raised by 1. And that's
Okay.
it.
Cool. Four steel.
Nice.
Right, and then Dave, do you have like questions you have to answer for greed?
Yeah, let me just find the page. Pretty sure it's like 1, 2, 2. Yeah, it's 1, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Curious about this.
Okay. So there's a lot of. Oh, there's not that many of these.
Not that many.
Yeah. So +1 if will is 4 or lower.
Nope.
+1 for every 60 resource points.
I didn't even get 60.
Aw.
+1 for each of the following life paths: trader, mask bearer. Did you take any of these?
No.
No. Okay. +1 if the dwarf has coveted something owned by another.
Yeah, absolutely.
Has a dwarf ever stolen something he coveted? Did you steal your
My tools.
tools?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down because someone's gonna want to come get those.
That's a thing that may come up.
Yeah. Yeah. Dwarves don't like me very much.
Has the character ever been in the presence of master craftsmanship of the Dwarven Fathers?
Yes.
I think there's one missed there. Has the dwarf ever had his prized treasure stolen from him?
Oh right, yeah.
Oh, could we make this like not the tools? Could it be something else?
Yeah.
I don't know what it would be though. No, we'll leave it for now. And we'll see if I can come up with something interesting.
Okay. Has the character witnessed an outsider in possession of dwarven art?
I've made some, even though it's bad.
Is the dwarf over 200 years old?
No.
You're not over 400 years old. Each romantic relationship is -1. Each hateful relationship is +1. Each... Hang on. Each hateful immediate family member is +2.
I'm
and
counting,
that's
I'm
it.
counting 6.
That's it.
Okay. Let me go back through then. If you're only getting 6.
Yeah.
Because we're starting very high, and I'm worried for you.
2, 3. Presents, yes. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, on 2 on the end.
Okay.
Right, that's really bad.
Okay, so can you explain briefly how greed comes into it?
Yeah. Let's go over greed. Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
So, as the description of greed, lying in the heart of every dwarf is a terrible seed, one of avarice, lust, and greed. It's a strange facet of their nature. Some dwarves may hold it in check, others give in to it, acquiring all they desire in a bloody swath of war, murder, and betrayal. Greed is an emotional tribute like faith. Greed for hatred is not directly tested like faith. Instead, it's a factor in many roles and situations. In play, greed emotional tribute is used by the player to acquire, create, or retain wealth, power, or beauty. When it is invoked, that which is used in favor cannot be worded. So, even though I kind of suck at like sculpting, if I really want to make something, I can use my greed.
Oh wow.
And it will be like a masterpiece. But that's really, really bad because it starts me down this not very long road left. There is not much road left for me.
Yeah, you could greed out.
You could always like unhook a relation, unhook like a thing from your resource points and buy like a loving relationship.
Nah, we go for it.
I also resources is gonna suck for you, buddy. Have you read what happens when your greed is higher than your resources?
Well, what happened?
I'll give you a hint. Every resources test is made at a +1 ob because it's really hard to part with the money you do have.
Oh.
And I just looked at your sheet, and that's a 5 exponent difference.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah, so that's bad. If I see some really, really good art.
You have to take it's steel
I take
tests.
steel
And...
tests, which is I'm going to steal things that your characters make by mistake.
Yep.
I'm not going to mean to, but if you make a really good play, I'll steal
it.
I will steal your manuscript.
Yeah. Dave is going to steal the show.
So I assume you're going with either physical beauty or craftsmanship as your idiom.
Yes, it's not so much wealth; it's the pursuit of those two.
Yes. Okay. Oh, you choose three of the four categories.
You
Oh,
pick one you don't care about. You have to take the other three.
Oh, this is great.
Damn it, Dave.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous.
This has gone well.
Yeah.
Where are the three things?
It's just
one,
a page
two,
after the
two.
questions. What's your pleasure? To pick between riches, physical beauty, craftsmanship, and power.
Don't care about power.
Okay, that
Great.
makes sense. So you're in the best place for your green not to cause you a problem. Plaza filled with beautiful art and artistry and
Okay.
artists and all the money.
I've come here with some beliefs about what I want, about the life I'm going to make for myself, and all that's going to happen is I'm going to become a crime boy. So it's a really good thing I've got really high health, because if people stab me when I steal their stuff, then I'll probably survive.
God.
My mortal wounds got to be like super high.
What was it?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the last note on greed. The limits of greed. Once greed reaches exponent 10, the dwarf goes mad with his covetous desires and shuts himself in his halls forever.
Yeah. To be fair, like the obstacle
It's not bad.
7 and up greed tests are actually pretty hard to like. They're pretty big things.
Yeah.
You have to murder people for the stuff you're greedy about to get those tests.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, routine tests always count.
Yeah.
It's the.
I'm really sorry if I murder any of your characters for their stuff.
That's okay.
It's what my character would do.
Yeah.
Look. Just me and Ash just need to hold a persona point in reserve
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
Dave insurance.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
It's gonna be fine. We're gonna get through this as a team.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Do you know what? Do you know what? It's just occurred to me. Dave's character can't stab me if I stab him first.
It's true.
You're
Okay.
gonna stab him a lot of times for him to take, though.
Yeah, I have 6 fort.
Oh dear.
Jesus. Alright. Yep.
Okay. Shall we
Okay,
take?
I'm very much the stabby in this situation then, God.
Shall we take one last break and then come back and start talking about beliefs and instincts?
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds like a great plan.
Okay. Cool. We will be back in a few minutes, guys. Don't go anywhere. See you in a bit.